Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. How's it going, Nodar?
Good. How are you?
Doing awesome, man. I'm glad you're able to join us.
Thanks, man. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. Give you a little background about the base space. We just started this group. It kind of was like a group of friends just doing shenanigans, and slowly grew a community around the space. And now we just bring on super base projects and provide like an educational platform for founders and team members to educate crypto Twitter on what they've been up to. So we're really excited to have you on. I'm Mewtwo. I'm the founder of the space, and you're joined by my co-hosts Chase and Super High.
What
Hey,
up?
Nodar. How's it going?
Nice to meet you guys. Yeah, it's a great effort. It's kind of actually how I started out originally. I was just making educational content through DeFi tutorials.
Oh, that's sick, bro. Yeah, I mean, dude, education is so critical right now in this
Yeah,
space. So it's essential, man. We need to be providing these type of platforms for creators to come on and just talk about their projects, talk about the work, because there's so, at least in this cycle, man, there's so many different projects, right, being produced that actually have real utility versus 2017. The ICOs are kind of just like pump and dumps.
yeah, for sure, man. And it's kind of what was like a really good thing about like building during the bear market. You kind of were building around people who were actually in it for, you know, not the money, but for the cause, right?
Yeah, I actually appreciate these type of shakeouts like we're having now. You know, you kind of eliminate the people that are just essentially gambling, in my opinion. You know.
Yeah, it's natural. Like humans are speculative in nature, and these cycles are natural. So, but I think there's definitely way more interest in DeFi now, from like like some people come for like I like to say like some people come for the APY, but they stay for DeFi. So there's a lot of folks like that.
100%, man. JC, you have something?
No, yeah, I was just gonna add. I think Nodar's such on an interesting point, and I think that's like that will affect like future bear markets, just like with like the yields and stuff like that, with like the total value locked over time.
Yeah, absolutely. Nodar, we always like to jump in. Like, how'd you get started in the crypto space?
In the crypto space, I actually, I guess like the very first time I kept hearing about Bitcoin from my friend. He actually, one of my best friends, he got burned during the Mt. Gox whole thing. And I just never really looked into it until at one time I randomly saw mining video on Ethereum back in, I think it was like summer of 2017. And I just decided to like start mining. To me, it was like the next kind of evolution towards from like double entry accounting system that we used to have since like the 15th century. And I've always been interested in accounting. I've been like doing like kind of like internships at since like high school at accounting firms, so that's always been a passion of mine. And when I saw how the proof of work mechanism works, that right away kind of sparked my interest. And that's why like I guess you could say like I got my first ETH, but not by buying it but by mining it. So I'm pretty proud of that. And then that really led me down the rabbit hole, as everyone says. I really like discovered the, the capabilities of smart contracts, and really started applying my financial background to see how I can help out the space, what I can bring into the space. And really for the, like after 20 summer 2017, I spent the next like almost 2 years just really trying to learn as much as possible. And I was like itching to like start something or join. I even applied, like I got a couple of DeFi startups back in the day, but I never got accepted. And that was, I guess, a good thing, because that really led me to just making DeFi tutorials, just to kind of, like, I guess I didn't know what to start at that time. So I was like, I'm just going to make tutorials to show other people like kind of the capabilities of DeFi. And then from that, I thought that could possibly lead me to see kind of like the missing pieces of what's currently missing in DeFi. And that's kind of what ended up happening. I saw there was a disconnect of how people were using all these DeFi platforms separately, but the power users were using at least like two or three protocols at once, doing all these actions, wasting all these transactions. So that's how I kind of came up with DeFi Zap, and we participated in the DeFi hackathon, which I also kind of like randomly participated in with Kyber. I just like randomly reached out on their Discord asking for help. Immediately, someone reached out, and we just started like building smart contracts, and we ended up winning that hackathon, and then kind of like kept the ship moving. And that's really kind of like what I always like to tell people who start out is like always look for, I guess, like the missing pieces in the space. Like always try to get down on like what the users are trying to do, and help them out, that way. Because at the end of the day, it's all about product market fit, and at the end of the day, it's users who are going to be using, these products, and your job is to make their lives easier, right? So, yeah. Sorry for blabbing on there, but hopefully that was a good summary of my start at crypto.
No, man, I think that's actually so important because we have a ton of listeners that want to get involved in crypto. Super highs learning to code right now. We have developers, UX people, designers, business people, and they all want to get started. And there's so many jobs right now, right, available at these startups. But like Nodar was saying, guys, even if these places are rejecting you, find your niche, find an opportunity, and go for it. And I think that this is a really, really cool time where there's active collaboration happening. Like I just literally DM Nodar like, "Hey, do you want to come on the space?" And he said yes. You know what I'm saying? Like people in crypto are super open to collaborating and putting together projects. I know people personally that are working on their own mini crypto blockchain projects. Like just go for it, guys. Like there's tons of opportunity to jump into. So I'm really, really glad you actually laid that out for people because now they can clearly see that, hey, there's opportunity and there's tons, like it's never ending in crypto. We're just at the very beginning of this space.
Yeah, absolutely. And like for the first like year and a half, like even 2 years, even like after doing like DeFi tutorials and stuff, like really the tide hasn't turned until like last summer when like everyone all of a sudden jumped into DeFi. Like before it was even kind of glimmer, as I guess you could say, but now there's a lot more help for sure. Like just like you said, like kind of like the reason why I like to help out, like someone who's producing educational content is because people back in the day helped me out like crazy when I was just basically a nobody. And yeah, that was very, very, very kind of heartwarming, even because even when when you're like all alone, you don't know what you're doing really. When people actually help you just because it really means a lot, and that's what keeps you kind of pushing.
100%, 100%.
Hey, Nora, I'm actually curious. Like, you had mentioned about building through the bear market. I'm just curious, as like a builder in this space, was there something that surprised you along the way, or like a valuable lesson that you learned that was like really unexpected throughout this process?
Oh yeah, there's like a lot of I feel like unexpected things that happened, but mm, hmm, uh, uh, I guess if I if I were to point one out, um, hmm, yeah, like I remember just like after we won the hackathon, there was just like so many things that kept changing inside the DeFi ecosystem itself. Like the big one I remember was like the DAI to Psi. I mean the Psi to DAI migration at this point, when the Maker was doing that whole migration, and they just messed up a whole lot of things. People weren't sure what they were doing, so like it was always fighting through kind of these like user experience hurdles that we also kind of had to deal with on the back end. So like yeah, like it was surprising how fast everything like started moving all of a sudden. Like we just kept the focus on kind of like helping people getting into pools, and then like out of nowhere, like the farming opportunities started, and then people just started experimenting all over the place. So like I like to call it as like a Cambrian explosion of like financial experiments, and Ethereum provides a perfect kind of blueprint for to make those experiments happen. So like just the pace of how everything happened was unexpected. I thought it would take a lot longer to kind of get to where we are at today.
100%. I think that's actually a good transition point. Can you go into like what Zapper is really about, like, and what people can actually do within the dashboard itself for those that aren't familiar?
Yeah, for sure. So Zapper helps you manage all your DeFi assets in one simple user interface. And this came especially helpful, as I was mentioning before, as all these farming opportunities started coming up. We started integrating as many of them as possible. Essentially, we helped some people even find their lost funds that they forgot that they deposited somewhere for farming, like some time ago. So it was really just to first and foremost give you a clear snapshot of all that's happening with your funds in DeFi, and then with Zaps, which is what we start out with DeFi Zap with the hackathon, we help you make user interactions with DeFi projects and DeFi opportunities in one transaction. So something that would take two, three, sometimes four, even more transactions to get from point A to point B, with a Zap you could do in one action, in one transaction. So yeah, that's
No, it's really cool, guys. You can do everything from like exchange swapping, you can do pools, you can do farming, bridges. I mean, you guys have really built out um, a really great platform, really user friendly in my opinion. Could you also touch on like what networks are compatible within the Zapper dashboard?
yeah, it's Polygon. I mean, of course, Ethereum, and then we added Polygon, Phantom, and Binance Smart Chain.
Yeah, so it's super flexible in terms of your preference on that point. I also really enjoy the profile leveling system. Can you kind of talk to us about like the quests and the reward system and how that works within your profile itself?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's something a team came up with recently, and I think it's pretty cool. It's essentially instead of like rewarding people how you'd usually do with a token for making user actions on the platform, you're rewarded with XP, which then later you can redeem for NFTs. And depending on which level you're at, you'll get to unlock a better NFT.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think it's like a really unique feature. And also one of the cool features about your platform is the wallet watch list. Can you kind of talk to people about how that works?
I'm sorry, could you say that again?
The wallet watch list.
Oh, you mean like where you add on an address and you can
Yeah.
essentially, yeah. So it's the first and kind of like first and foremost function of Zapper is giving you a snapshot of everything that's going on within the wallet. So you can not necessarily even yours. You can put in any address in there and essentially be able to follow what's going on within that wallet and give you a snapshot of everything.
Yeah, just to add on to that, I've used it before just to kind of creep on like larger wallets to kind of see, what bigger players are doing, or bigger player, bigger brains than myself. I think that's like a really clever way to kind of
Yep.
uncover some low key alpha that may not really be out there. So I definitely highly encourage you guys, if you're listening, to like play around with that.
Yeah, for sure. I've actually like back in the day used to just kind of roam around like every single transaction where we get through a Zap. I would just look into the user's wallet, see what kind of actions they're taking, and see if we can maybe come up with like the next Zap to make their life easier. Kind of seeing what they're already doing, so it's also pretty powerful, especially if you're like building something. You can literally see what you can build just by watching users interact.
Yeah, Chase, that's exactly what I use it for too, to just creep on people. Low key stalking some wallets in mine.
Yeah, and it'll even track delegations as well. So not even just like yield farming or anything like that. Like it picks up my I was playing around with my wallet and it picks up my like GRT delegations. So I thought that was also like really cool.
Yeah, 100%. I just got a quick DM from someone in the audience. They're asking if Zapper uses Chainlink price feeds. I'm not so sure on my side of that if you guys are using that currently.
Yeah, so I also have to double check on that, to be honest. So from what I know, we've been using it for gas estimates as a backstop. So whenever you do a transaction and there's a gas estimate for your transaction, that's what we use the Chainlink feed for. But yeah, I would also have to double check.
Cool. That's base. Yeah, we definitely have a lot of Link fans in the audience. I did want to also touch on the Zapper Developer API. Can you kind of touch on like what it is and maybe who's currently using it, and if you know of any like based projects that are tapping into that feature?
Yeah, I think actually Sahil is in the audience. I see, so Sahil might better answer that, as he is like a current member of the dev team behind that. If you want to bring him on, but
Oh yeah, for sure. Just request, bro.
yeah, but in general, I could tell you that the API, like it's being used for um, easily tapping into what Zapper has built, and for builders to take that on and further build their own applications, kind of using what we've already built up in terms of uh, getting snapshots from all these places for a wallet. So yeah.
Got it. Yeah, no. Maybe we'll jump to something else around instead of covering the developer API. Can you talk to us about the Alpha Leaks feature that you guys have on the website? Like, what is it, and like how the information is actually being compiled?
Yeah, so the Alpha Leaks is really centered more about like, helping you learn about the DeFi projects that are coming into the space. So kind of like what you're doing with this podcast, helping the educational content around, the projects that got started. We, that initiative is head by DeFi Dad, was awesome in the space. I think you guys know him. He's been kind of like the OG teacher, and it's really centered around helping you understand how these protocols work under the hood, of course how to utilize them, and how to best make the opportunities work depending on what your like risk parameters are, where you are in your kind of DeFi journey.
No, it's really cool that you guys are providing that type of education through the site. I know we have a lot of listeners that are really passionate about writing in terms of crypto. Is there like a place that people can apply, or what's the process to actually help with the content creation?
Yeah, for sure. You can reach out on Discord. Like Discord would be like the number one place where like a lot of the team members are always at, and there's a lot of activity happening there, and you can find a lot of information there and also contribute there wherever possible. But I agree, yeah, like educational content is still like very much lacking, and there's not a lot of people doing it still. So there's like ton of opportunity there, especially if we want to, take this more mainstream.
Yeah, kind of building off that, it kind of seems like you're maybe open for that being a open freelance writing section of the website. So kind of going off that, if users had ideas or like potential new features for Zapper, how would they go about requesting that or kind of like surfacing that to the team?
Oh yeah, we have a dedicated page for that. It's actually features.zapper.fi, and you'll see a ton of requests there already, and you can like upload the requests you want to see um, get worked on more. So yeah, it would be over there. Features.zapper.fi.
Gotcha. And then I know right now, at least if I recall, like in the actual writing section for the alpha leak, if you guys do open it up to have like a larger pool of writers, could you guys see yourself like adding a like tipping function where maybe each author has like a ENS domain or like a wallet for the Zapper alpha leak to where people could tip if they find lessons beneficial or whatever it may be?
That's a cool idea. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, like something we would have to work on, I guess, but not sure. Yeah, it is a cool idea though, having kind of more of a community effort around this.
Yeah, because I know you also have the Zapper bug bounty program as well from like a community engagement standpoint. Can you kind of cover for us like how that program works and how people get rewarded within that program?
Oh yeah, it's a popular platform the team used. I forgot exactly what it's called, but a lot of the projects in the space use it, and it's pretty straightforward. You just put up a bounty, and whoever finds a bug described in the bug bounty, then essentially you get rewarded. And there's a lot of people participating in these. There's a lot of we even had like white hackers who just like reached out to us out of the goodness of their heart to let us know about like some vulnerabilities that were there before. So the community, like I think you were mentioning in the beginning, is very sort of like coming together, especially to help out like a very community driven project in the space. So yeah, like we decided to, I guess, make it worthwhile for developers to also encourage them to find bugs, because we obviously want the safest possible smart contracts while you're interacting, with Zapper.
Yeah, I know your main focus with Zapper is obviously the UX. I mean, it's super user friendly from that standpoint. So I think you guys are one of the few projects that's actually focused on a UX experience, and it's something that I could see like a boomer or really someone of that age demographic just easily understanding how to use the dashboard. Um, have you ever thought of the dashboard being used in case like someone passes away or like a divorce happens and you need to like take control of certain crypto assets? Have you thought of maybe building out an interface to kind of support those type of initiatives?
Right. I mean, whenever you're interacting with Zapper, you're signing in with your wallet, so we don't have like control over the funds, kind of like to kind of if somebody passes away to all of a sudden transfer them to someone. But perhaps future down the line. But I do agree. Like, yeah, the UX is kind of what brought DeFi Zap and DeFi Snap together back in the day. Seb has been working on the UX part, and it was kind of like the front end for the Zaps. What I was saying from the very beginning. So I agree. Like, a lot of people love the way our dashboard looks, how clean it is, and how straightforward you get a snapshot of everything that's going on.
Yes. Also curious. Got a question from the audience. Do you have an idea of when like Avalanche support is going to be coming?
I'd have to double check on that. Yeah, like not sure from my end. Sahil, again, if you want to chime in on that.
Yeah, I invited to speak. No pressure to come on.
No, I had a question around this. I'm just thinking about whenever banks start entering the field. Like I know JP Morgan, they have their own blockchain that I believe they're kind of like constructing out. Will Zapper be able to use that type of infrastructure, or will it have to be kind of a like permission based to connect your API to like larger institutions as they bring on these like other DLTs and permission blockchains? I'm assuming so, but I just wanted to like clarify because I'm unsure on how that would work from like a back end.
So you're asking connecting kind of traditional banking systems, or sorry, like didn't understand in the beginning. You said
Yeah. So, say I have a traditional account, let's just say like with Chase. And let's say I also have some wallets in which I'm interacting with DeFi. Basically, what I'm asking is like, will Zapper be able to like kind of meet in the middle to where it'll be able to aggregate information from both sides of like the public blockchains, but also the API based like login credential JP Morgan Chase blockchain?
yeah, no, yeah, that would totally be different systems, and yeah, like right now the focus is definitely on the permissionless blockchain ledgers essentially. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually really like that use case, Chase. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be like a grand snapshot of of your life, essentially, of everything. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it kind of rolls into what Zapper has done to today, right? They've eliminated 4 or 5 steps in the process, and this is kind of eliminating maybe another step and making it even easier for the average consumer to get involved in DeFi. So I actually love that idea, Chase. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of still kind of like the crypto fiat on ramps. So like, I guess something around that would be very convenient for sure. Like even from my own use case, kind of like like you do need to go back and forth from your like account to crypto. It would be nice if there were. I mean, it would be nice if everyone just accepted DAI, right? But until we get there, there needs to be a seamless channel, and to this day it's only a handful of kind of companies dominating that space. So
Yeah, because I mean that's kind of like where I see Zapper sitting, is just kind of that financial hub for individuals. So it's kind of in that traditional world speaking, it's like you have your Fidelity, you have your banking account, maybe you have like your Charles Schwab, like whatever it may be, across all your different assets you own, across all the different brokerages. But it's kind of just like culminating this like one area, which you can kind of see where all of your assets are currently sitting and like what they're working on. So yeah, it'd be really interesting to see how that bridge gets kind of crafted down the road.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really good segue to curious, Nodar, like where do you see Zappers going in like the next 5 years? Like where do you envision the dashboard being?
yeah, interesting question. Uh, yeah, I mean, like definitely, whatever DeFi brings upon us, I think the team will do an awesome job at integrating new kind of, maybe not just even DeFi protocols. Maybe it would be something else. Like you never know what DeFi might bring, but I'm sure that Zapper would stay at the forefront of helping you getting a snapshot of everything that's going on in DeFi, no matter what happens. and continuing being this forefront app for all your things in the financial world, maybe not just DeFi. Um, I see way more, helpful interactions within DeFi. So not just getting you a dashboard view of your of everything that's going on, but also giving you way more capabilities to perhaps even do some kind of new actions that haven't been invented before. So what I like to kind of always say is like most of the people, even up to this day, they've been trying to augment what's going on in traditional finance and augment it in DeFi. But I think the most interesting use cases are coming from something that hasn't been done in traditional finance before, but could be done in DeFi because of this open infrastructure. One clear use cases example is something that Uniswap did, kind of transform the entire DEX space, and it's going to keep happening. And again, I'm sure that Zapper will stay at the forefront of all these innovations and mold itself into something that everyone uses to easily interact at the forefront from the user experience.
100%. Nodar, I know you gotta jump and catch a flight. You're a busy man. Any kind of closing thoughts for the audience that you want to leave everyone with?
Yeah, I mean, I guess to add on, I mean, since you said there's a lot of builders and people trying to get into the space and they don't know how, like, it's my suggestion is always to, you know, at first try to learn as much as possible, consume as much as possible, because through that you'll kind of be able to see what's possible further. It's kind of like at first you do need to learn a lot. It's kind of what I spend time doing, and really understanding the whole DeFi matrix. And from there you'll also see what the users themselves want to do, and making their lives easier would perhaps that's how you start your own project. So yeah, like, I would definitely encourage everyone to not give up on the learning experience ever, and to keep pushing. And yeah, there's, like I was mentioning before, there's definitely a lot of rough patches. You know, we still have a long way to go, but uh, definitely keep pushing, and uh, keep asking out for help, because this community is very helpful. And eventually you'll find your niche, and everything's gonna work out.
Yeah. Thank you, Nodar, for coming on, and we definitely appreciate your time, and we definitely appreciate the kind words for even the younger people getting into crypto, and really just starting and asking questions. So thank you.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you so much for having me. Have fun.
100%, man. Have a safe flight.
Safe flight. Yeah. Jinx.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Stay based.